Hi there, I'm the Reverend Danny Crosby, a Unitarian minister serving congregations in Altrincham and in Urmston in the northwest of England, and I offer this devotion as a balm for the heart, for the mind, for the spirit, and for the soul. And it's titled, In the Fullness and Elasticity of Time. My friend Susan messaged me the other morning about some memories that had come to her. A conversation developed evoking memories for both of us actually, of life now passed by, many years in our youth, I guess. Of times in our youth when life seemed so very different to today, because we were younger. I often wonder when people talk about things just aren't what they used to be. It's because we're not quite what we used to be. Time has passed. Time has gone by. We're not quite the same. So life is not the same. Often when we get nostalgic about the past, we're not quite the same person then. It distracted me, the conversation. It was delightful, but it was a bit of a distraction. I was actually really trying to get on with the morning that day. I had lots to do, and actually all that she was doing was wasting time before she herself had a business call. Fine, that's all well and good, but I haven't got the time to waste, or so I thought. It was actually a delightful conversation. By the way, she wasn't the only one that was kept on interrupting me that morning as I was trying to get on with my important business. People were contacting me about serious and ridiculous things, actually, and I had much to do, such a busy week ahead of me. I had to do 2 weeks' work in 1 week, as I've got things to do next week which are related to work in a different way. Busy week ahead. At one point, I was on the phone to someone, and 2 other people were trying to call me at the same time while I was on the phone. And this was all before 9 a.m, by the way. In fact, and someone else tried to contact me as well. 4 calls before 9 a.m. on a Monday morning. It's not really the way things should be, but these things are important. But I do remember saying to myself that line that is a recurring line throughout my career in ministry. I haven't got time for this. I haven't got time for this. It went on all day, and every time I tried to get anything done, I found myself interrupted. I noticed my internal Basil Fawlty was waking up as the day went on, but thankfully my Basil Fawlty remained asleep. He never popped out to say hello. Thank God for that. But I mean, yeah, it was frustrating in some ways, but the truth is there were so many wonderful interactions that day and all week. Later in the day, I had a delightful conversation with a woman I see a lot, but we never see out and about a lot, but we never have the opportunity to interact, to speak because she's responsibly looking after a non-verbal autistic grandson who she walks around all over Altrincham. I see her everywhere. See them out together all the time. But that day, she was on her own. Actually, as I was on my own, I didn't have Molly with me either. We only ever see each other with she has her grandson on her rein and harness and reins, and I have Molly on harness and reins. But that day, I was at the supermarket. I'm not sure what the little boy wasn't with her. So I said hello, and we spent time chatting. It's the first time either of us has stopped to talk in the last 2 or 3 years that I've seen this woman walking around with her grandson. And she spoke to me actually about her relationship instantly. It was like an instant opportunity to share with me. I've got one of those faces, haven't I? Now Molly constantly, when she's walking around, stops to sniff. Well, her grandson does a fascinating thing actually on lampposts and things. He starts tapping away and listening to the vibrations, the sound that comes out of him. She tells me and I noticed him doing it the other day, and she was explaining to me that he loves to listen and feel the vibrations. It was a delightful conversation. She talked so much about him and his sister, who appears not to have autism. And his is quite severe. He's non-verbal and will always be like that, it would appear. so will need care all his life. So I'm really glad that I had time for that conversation despite my hurried and busyness of the day. I was smiling as I returned back home finally to get some work done. Working on this, actually, as you can see, it fed into this conversation, so it was a great thing. But I sat down to think about writing this, and one line that came to me is that often repeated line, the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry, by Robbie Burns. The story of my week, of most weeks of my life, really. This week particular, though, there's so many things I've wanted and tried to do, including this should have been recorded 2 days ago, but things got in the way. But I felt thwarted at every turn. Nothing new in this, nothing new under the sun. We never know what the day will hold whenever we step into the day. Yes, we make our plans, we have our designs for life, we have our list perhaps of things to do. Some things work out exactly as we expect them to, but often they do not. Sometimes they work out better than we could have dreamed of, but often they do not. We cannot predict life, and I don't personally think that life is preordained. I believe that the book of life is an open book, unwritten actually. I don't think anything is predetermined. I believe in the Lord of divine love, but I don't think that life is controlled by some primal, all-powerful, all-controlling centre. But I could be wrong. Wouldn't be the first time, would it? There is a love that speaks through life, I believe. And I believe it can speak through us too. But I don't think everything is predetermined. I just don't believe that personally, but that's a matter of faith, isn't it? I do believe everything matters, and that's because it isn't predetermined, so it matters even more what we do, how we are. Life feeds us, we feed life. We are part of the great co-creation of life. Life is genuinely open. That's why it matters so much how we journey in this life. This is why it's so important that we keep on stepping into the world on the continuous journey, no matter what happens. That we experience all life, and that life is a blessing. That we experience the blessings and the curses of life, all life, not dodge anything. Always remembering, of course, that we do not journey alone. We're in the ship of love together. Now, this, strange as this may sound to you, a lifetime's journey can actually only be taken in one day. In fact, it shouldn't be called a lifetime's journey. It doesn't quite make sense, really. Do you know that the word journey is derived from the Latin word diurnum, meaning your daily portion, from which the old French word journée, which meant a day's work, a day's travel, is derived. Think of a journal. Yeah, a day. I love this truth. It makes me smile so broadly. We all live one day at a time. Actually, that's the truth of life. That is the beautiful journey of life. One day, it means what we do in a day. So beautiful, but sometimes so heartbreakingly painful. We get 24 hours, one day. That is the journey itself, literally, actually. We all have this day, just 24 little hours of precious time. And it matters. It matters how we spend our 24 hours, 7 or 8 of them asleep, of course. What we do with our daily portion, our beautiful journey, what we do in a day. I wonder how much your daily portion is worth. Time is a precious commodity. It's a priceless one, maybe. Yeah, I think so. We get just 24 hours in each day, and it's important how we choose to spend this incredible commodity. How are you going to spend yours, your daily portion? Think about it. I came across the following a few years ago, and I do like it. It's a simple message, and I've shared it before, but I think it talks about how we spend these 24 hours, our journey. Just imagine you had a bank that credited your account each morning with £86,000 that carried over no balance from day to day. You had to spend it in the day. You could hold none back in account for the next day. Every evening, whatever was left is cancelled. Anything you didn't use that day, you cannot carry forward. If you were given those £86,000, what would you do with it each day? Well, you'd spend every penny, wouldn't you? You'd use it to your advantage or to others' advantage as much as you possibly could. Well, the truth is, we do have this account. Its name is time. Every morning it credits us with 86,400 seconds. Every night it rules off as lost forever anything we fail to invest in the day. No balance is carried over. There is no overdraft given. Each day opens a new account. Each day opens a brand new account. It depends how you spend it each day. The deposit is yours to spend each and every day. You cannot draw on tomorrow's account the next day. So how are you going to spend your daily portion? How are you going to live your journey this day? For time is a precious commodity. How we use it may be our only real freedom in life. How we live out our journey, our daily portion, is our greatest freedom of all. Now, of course, we all have our commitments, things that we have to do each and every day. That said, we all still have so much time, and I wonder how much of our time we waste worrying about the time we have left, or how much time we have ill feeling towards the time already spent, stuff that will not come back. How much of each day do we waste in regret or fear of tomorrow? How much of each precious journey is wasted on that credit we had before and after? Such feelings block us from experiencing the precious moment, the precious gift we're given this day. And none of us know how much time we have left. Each journey is so precious, so sacred, priceless, you could say. Now, while each passing moment of each and every day lasts as long as the next one or the one before, it's not always experienced this way, is it? And I've noticed that these last few days once again. There's something very peculiar about time. Time can stop. Time can fly by. The passing of time, of course, brings with it the experience of aging. If we're given the privilege of age, we can look back and say things aren't what they used to be. No, because we've aged. We're getting older. We feel things. Our minds aren't quite as sharp. We don't run quite as freely. But the passing of time can rejuvenate us in spirit, in heart, if we spend our time wisely. We can kill time, but in so doing we do not damage it, we only damage ourselves. We can spend time until it runs out, but we can invest too. We can invest our time in something. We can't carry the seconds forward, but we can invest it in something that can be for the good of us or for others in the future. So we need to spend our time wisely, for if we do, it will give a rich dividends. So how should we spend our time, this strange beast that is time? Time is a strange beast. My experience of time is certainly peculiar, I'll tell you. And time doesn't just happen to us. We spend our time ourselves. We're not passive in this life. We experience time uniquely. We play a role in how time is spent. As Hannah Arendt, that great philosopher, wrote, it is the insertion of man with his limited lifespan that transforms the continuous flowing stream of sheer change into time as we know it. Our experience of time is not merely a continuation of successive moments. We make meaning out of the moments that we spend. Some moments can feel infinite, and other times it just feels like life's passing us by. As Virginia Woolf observed on the strangeness of time, An hour, once it lodges in the queer element of the human spirit, may be stretched to 50 or 100 times its clock length. Time messes with us. Yes, the clock ticks on and it passes by moment, and yet each moment's not quite the same. There is a mystical quality to each individual's experience of time. My timekeeping these last couple of weeks has felt my experience of time and my timekeeping I've been a bit disorientated, if I'm honest. Probably because my sleep and my waking times out of kilter, because I've been trying to watch the World Cup games, some of which are on at ridiculous hours of the day. I've missed a few and I've fallen asleep watching a few others, actually. In fact, last Saturday night, I fell asleep during the England game and woke up just before the England scored. So that was thankfully, I woke up for that. Obviously the one in the week, I was on a reasonable tea time hour. I watched that. Although Sunday night, Monday morning I think it's at 1 o'clock or it's midnight, 1 o'clock. So that's going to be a tricky one, isn't it? And I have to sleep afterwards. I've got a busy week ahead. So time's felt a bit disorientated recently because I've been messing with my usual sleeping time. And somebody said that to me yesterday, you look very tired. Now, one reason is I've had a busy week, but I think the other is that I've not had as much sleep as I should have had. Not a good idea, that is it, because it affects how I experience the time I have. Sleep is such a vital way of spending time, actually. Rest and sleep, relaxation. But time is a mysterious beast. And you know what? As usual, the English language doesn't really help us acknowledge the multifaceted nature of time, actually. The ancient Greeks understood this far better than we did, but then they often did, didn't they? They recognised that time had two kinds of nature, and they gave it two names. One was Chronos and one was Kairos. Chronos time is what today we would call clock time, although of course clocks didn't exist then. Chronological time. If someone was to ask you what time it was, you might say, it's 6 o'clock. This is the time 6 that belongs to the clock. This is Chronos time. I noticed actually when I visited a prison a while ago and did a talk that there were no clocks anywhere. Oh, I didn't see them anyway. Probably a good thing if you think about somebody in prison, because watching the clock, the passing of time, would be quite torturous if you were serving time. So Chronos time is one form of time. Kairos time is very different. It's how we experience the moment. It is the quality of the time that is used, the depth of the moment. Unlike Chronos, Kairos is not merely linear. Chronos is the number ticking. And we don't impact on Chronos time, it just passes by regardless of us. It exists with whether we are aware of it or not. Whereas Kairos time is experienced and interpreted by each and every one of us. It's about how we spend the time, the Chronos time that we are given, and the meaning we attach to the time. And Virginia Woolf obviously recognised this when she wrote and spoke of the elasticity of time. How it stretches and bends and takes shape, and the second can be stretched deeply and stretched outwardly and experienced hugely. But it's the same second of the clock. It's the same time of the clock. But Kairos is an experience within the time of the clock. But it feels different, although it isn't different. But our experience of it is unique to each and every one of us. It's a mystery, I guess. And it's elasticated. It can be stretched. Can't be broken apart, but it can be stretched. Now, the digital age has impacted on our experience of time, particularly the passing of time. We've lost that sound of the ticking clock, haven't we? And I learned something recently, and anecdotally, it's something I've noticed, but actually I've been thinking about it more and more. But did you know that 1 in 6 people in the United Kingdom cannot read a clock face? In a survey conducted in 2023, it was found that 16% of those surveyed could not tell the time from a clock face. This rose to 21% of those aged between 18 and 24 years. I was actually surprised to learn of a couple of young friends of mine who cannot read a clock face. They must be one of those 21%. Bright people, but they cannot look at a clock and read it. I've got a friend whose daughter works in a high finance, a massive, highly paid job, who has a watch, a very expensive watch, which she cannot tell the time on. I've got another friend who has a very expensive watch that doesn't work. It costs him a fortune to have it serviced. So he wears this watch that does not work. What is the point of that, you may ask? Well, it's not a watch. I don't know if you can. I'm sure he can tell the time, but so many people cannot. Amazed me. And I noticed these people actually have grown up in a digital age, so they've not needed to learn how to read a clock, I guess. Does not mean that they do not experience the nature of time. Although, interestingly, I have noticed that my two friends who cannot read a clock face on a watch say they're always late. They are terrible time keepers. So maybe it does affect how they experience time. Who knows, eh? But Kairos time isn't about the passing of time. It's about the experience of time, the experience of the moment, the depth. Something happens in this time frame. I experienced a beautiful moment of Kairos time last Monday evening after a day of slight frustration trying to get things done. An evening where I completely lost myself in the music as I sang my soul out in the choir I'm in, and I got so much into the feel and the experience of that time as we sang together, and I really let myself go, completely lost in the music. I felt it. I kind of identified with the lady's grandson and his feeling of the vibration. I understand what he means by that. What's meant, what he's experienced to some degree. We may interpret things differently due to his neurodiversity, but I got completely lost in the feel of the music. I was able to go. It wasn't just about perfunctory performance, even. It was about a powerful experience of being lost in time, but keeping time with the music. Obviously, following the discipline while being so at ease with what I was doing. I was able to let myself go and let myself free, and my soul exploded. It was amazing. We made that hour and a half that we shared and worked together. It was utterly sublime. And I'll miss that next week as I'm away at Ministry in the Making, which will be another wonderful experience of time over a set period of time, but the experiences will be a thickening of time. Hence all the extra work I've got to do this week. I'm not always sure whether I spend my time usefully or frivolously. Can't even say that word, can I? I don't work a 9-to-5 life, and it can be hard to judge my time spent working sometimes or not working. Sometimes my most fruitful activity is when I appear to be most idle, like the conversation with the woman. But such activity is vital to my ability to function when I am working, when I'm not idle. For that turns Chronos time into Kairos time. Some of my most creative work is spent sitting in or outside Cafe Nero, or when I meet people on the street and engage in a conversation. It sets my soul ablaze. Beautiful. Kairos time. Just a few moments can be transformative, But we need to idle sometimes and experience time without doing anything. brings to mind actually the following from the great 19th century transcendentalist Henry David Thoreau. He didn't live by Chronos time, and this is as he idled by Walden Pond. He wrote, seemingly idle, but inspired him to great things. Why should we live with such hurry and waste of life? Time is but the stream I go fishing in. Sometimes in a summer morning, having taken my accustomed bath, I sat in my sunny doorway from sunrise till noon. I realised what the Orientals mean by contemplation. I left the woods for as good a reason as I went there. It seemed to me that I had several more lives to live. It is remarkable how easily and insensibly we fall into a particular route or make a beaten track for ourselves. I learned this at least by my experiment, that if one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavours to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. In proportion as he simplifies his life, the laws of the universe will appear less complex, and solitude will not be solitude, nor will poverty be poverty, nor weakness weakness. Now, some may see this as indulgence, self-indulgence, wasting one's time. But is it? Thoreau doesn't tell us what he experiences while he sits there in the doorway of his cabin. He does not describe what he saw, what he felt. He just tells us that he was there. He was present in that sacred moment. He tells us that he is paying attention to the world around him. He called this contemplation. I know for myself that times in quiet, still contemplation, in prayer and meditation, they are vital to my capacity to experience life in its entirety. It thickens my experience of every moment. Time, though, does pass by. It's amazing, but come the 1st of August, Yorkshire Day, of course, I will have served the good folk of Altrincham and Urmston for 16 years. It seems like only yesterday, and yet it seems a lifetime ago. So much has happened during this time. So much has happened that's affected me deeply. I trust it has done so for those that I serve. I have certainly experienced some deep moments in our time together, what I call thick time. And I hope it's added as much depth and value to others too, as it has to me. That it's expanded their imaginations, fed their spirits, and enabled them to give more of themselves to life. It's been a thickening of time, whilst also elasticating, stretching time. Amazing, really. We thicken time and we stretch time, but chronologically, we have no effect on it. And yet, you cannot lengthen time. We are finite creatures, we human beings. This is what makes our lives so very precious, so valuable, so meaningful. If we would but learn to deepen our time and thicken our experiences, how rich life would be. For us and for others. But how do we do that? Well, in many ways, this is what I try to do each Sunday and other activities throughout my week. I try to thicken people's experience of the time that they share with me. To stretch, to elasticate time, if you like, to thicken it and to stretch it, even though each moment cannot be changed. But how we live within the moment. Yeah, it's how you live within the moment. It's not just about passively observing the moment. It's about what we do in the space. Do we dance and sing? Do we give ourselves fully to life? It's what we're here to do. We cannot lengthen the time we've been given. Not really, not by much anyway. The Chronos time will not be beyond a few extra years if we really look after ourselves and medical science continues to advance. They used to say 70 years and 10. The norm's now probably more like 80 years than 10. So a little, we can stretch it a bit further, I guess, a little bit more Chronos time as we do not die early of the things we once did. But that doesn't make much of a difference. But how we thicken and stretch and deepen time, each moment, there's no limit to that. There's a limit to Chronos time. There is not a limit to Kairos time. Kairos time does not operate in the linear realm. It's limitless. Well, it's limited by our imaginations, and I suspect no one will ever reach the limit of their own imaginations. Not really. The Spirit lives to set us free. So the key, it seems, is not the length of time we have or have had or have left, but what we do, how we live within the time frame that we exist. Let's make the most of it. Let's continue in journeying on and on. Let's join together in our daily task, our daily activity. In the ship of love that we're all sailing, expand the limits of what we think we know, to not be held back by what we think we know. Let's not be limited by our own imaginations. Let's journey on, stretching on, elasticating each moment in this thickening time. Amen. I'm going to end with some final words of blessing. You know, we need to bless more, and we can all bless. And we bless by giving ourselves fully to life. We walk this earth but a brief moment in time. Amid our suffering and pain, however great or small, let us continue to learn how to celebrate life. Let us continue to grow in our capacity to love ourselves and love each other. And let us continue to move toward the goal of a just world community. So let's go back to our lives in a renewed spirit of peace and hope and love, and with the wisdom to greet each passing day, each passing moment. Let's thicken time. And may the love of God go with us all, and may it do so in all that we feel, in all that we think, in all that we say, in all that we do. Amen.